Hey guys, Checkers here from ClimaxCombo once again. Today I'll be profiling my newly built Sword Online deck. This build does include a few cards from the new booster, the SAO Volume 2 boosters that came out a little while ago. This build is purely yellow-red, there's no other colors in it. I've been playing it quite a lot recently, and I gotta say it's become my favorite build. I think it's probably the best one. So yeah, nothing left to say, let's just get started. For level 0s, I run 3 of these 0/0 Asanas, 3500 power. On play, reveal the top card of your library, and if it's not an avatar, then you put it to your clock. So a really solid 3/5 beater. It can only hit Climax's events and cards that only have nets, have the net trait. So it's a pretty solid card. Even if you do hit a Climax, it's going near your clock, you won't be triggering it, so it's honestly pretty good, not really a bad thing. And it lets you level up faster to get to level 1 quicker. So all in all, it's a really solid 3/5 beater. Definitely don't play this card past level 2 because at that point it's way too risky and you definitely don't want to take 1 damage anymore. So yeah, other than that, it's really solid. 3 of these 0/0 Elizabeth's 1500 power. She's a level 0 Suicider, and she also has Accelerate. At the start of your Climax phase, you can take the top card of your library and put it to your clock and give another character 2500 power. It's an okay effect. 1 damage for 2/5 power. It's okay at level 0 and 1, but don't do it anymore at 2 or 3. It's definitely not worth power to clock yourself for 1 damage. Other than that, the main reason I run her is for level 0 Suicides. Kill anything that the 3/5 Asuna can't, so yeah. She's a really good card. Next we have 3 of these Asanas, 0/0 500 power. She's a 500 in front assist, and her second effect, when you play a Climax, you can give one of your other characters 1k power. So she's a really good card. Her second effect makes your offensive potential really high, and it's just a really good card. Really nice effect. You definitely want to have one in your back row at all times, or not all times, but you know what I mean. Next, 2 of these 0/0 Yui's 1500 power. She has a startup, pay 1, draw a card, discard a card, and her second effect, you can rest her and another character and give one of your other characters 1k power until the end of your opponent's turn. So her first effect is amazing. I absolutely love her because of it. As long as you have enough stock, you will be able to ditch any remaining Climaxes in your hand before refresh. And it lets you handfix at any time. Like the way I play her, I always have one of each of these in the back. So you always have the targets to rest and give power, so you'll be able to give 1k to something every turn. And you always have her in the back so you can handfix whenever you want. And she's like one of my only ways to ditch, but there's not much more you need when you always have a way to ditch there. So I really love that card. Moving on, we have one of these 0/0 Kiritos. When one of your other characters attacks, you can pay 1 for them to gain the effect of when they reverse your opponent's character. Then you can send that character to the bottom of your opponent's library. So essentially it's an anti-encore effect, or if something does something when it dies, or when it gets reversed, then you can negate that effect by sending it to the bottom. It's a nice tech to have. You don't need it against most sets, or I won't say most. I'll say some. It can be very useful sometimes. So that's why I only have a 1 of, but it's a pretty decent card. Next off, we have this 0/0 Silica 2/5 power. You can pay 1, rest 2 characters, and then you brainstorm. For every Climax you hit, you can salvage an avatar, net, or familiar character, so any card in the deck. Just a really nice plus brainstorm. And lastly, one of these Kleins, 2k power. On play, you can reveal the top card. If it's an avatar character, then you can give something 1k power to the end of your opponent's turn. And he has a pay 1 brainstorm. For every Climax you hit, give 1k to a character. So his on-play effect's nice, giving power. I mean, for free, essentially, as long as you hit an avatar. It's pretty good, and it lasts the end of your opponent's turn, so really nice. But the real reason I run him, he is a spammable brainstorm, and spammable brainstorm can come in handy in certain situations. Like it can save you, like just an obvious loss sometimes. But so yeah, I do like having both kinds of brainstorms in my deck. So yeah, definitely one of each. And yeah, that's my level 0s lineup. I believe that's 14 level 0s. A little low, but I don't seem to have a problem, so it's alright with me. Next off, we got level 1s. I run 4 of these Lisbeths, 1045 power. She gets 500 power for every avatar or net character you have. So if you have a full field, she becomes 6/5 base, which is pretty good for no cost. Next, I run 4 of these Invites to Party Asuna, 104 500 power. If you have 3 or more avatar or net characters, then she gets 1k, becoming essentially a costless vanilla. But she also has a climax combo with this wind trigger. On attack, you can pay 1 to search for an avatar or avatar, I believe. An avatar character. And add it to your hand, and then shuffle your library. So, you essentially break even if you have one of these on play and in the climax. If you have 2, then you +1, but yeah. What's really good, this combo lets you maintain your hand size, which SAO does have somewhat of a problem of maintaining hand size, and it gives you the option to pay out climaxes during your attack phase. So if you attack with one character, trigger a climax, then you can attack with her next, pay it out, and then search. So you don't really have to expel extra stock just to get a climax that might have been triggered earlier. So yeah, she's a really good card. Next, 3 of these 1045 asanas, the marker asana. When she reverses a character, you can put a marker underneath her, and for every marker she has, she gains +1 level and +1500 power. So after 1 kill, she becomes a level 2 6k. After another kill, level 3 7/5. And at that point, she's basically, as long as you get 2 kills, you have a costless 7/5, which is pretty damn good if you get it rolling early enough. So yeah, she's a very good card. She's potentially devastating, but she doesn't always go off, so it's not essential, but this card is really good. Next, we have one of these 1/6k asanas. She has Clock Encore, and during your turn, for every rested character you have, she gains +500 power. So if your back row and you have a full field with 2 attackers first, then she gains an extra 2k, so she becomes an 8k. And she has Clock Encore, so it's pretty good. Next, 2 1/0 backups, 1k. If you have 2 or more avatar or net characters, when you use the backup, then you can give another character 1k, so essentially costless 2k backup. Or 1k, depending on what you want to do. And 2 of these 3,500 backup events. So yeah, that concludes my level 1 lineup. Let's see, 8, 11, 12. I can't do math in my head. 14, 16. Okay, so 16 level 1s, which is kind of a lot, but I'll explain a bit more about why so many level 1s later on. Next off, level 2. 2 of these Lisbeths, level multiplier in front, so 500 for every level your characters have. And on play, you can pay 2 to salvage a character, so just your late game assist. Low multiplier, nothing else to say. Nice on play effect. If you definitely need the hand, then go ahead and use the stock. But yeah. Next we have this 2/1 Flash Asuna, 8k. If she's battling a level 3, then she gains +4k power and +1 soul. Her downside is that when she does reverse a character, you can put that character to stock, but in some cases that might not be a downside because you can anti-encore with that effect. So she's pretty good. She's a pretty good card. She's essentially an anti-change, or an anti, like, if your opponent gets level 3 out at level 2, then this definitely comes in handy, but you really don't want to use it if they don't have like a change. So that's why there's only a 1 of. She's just a tech, but a really good tech. And next we got this 2-1. One of these 2-1s, 7/500 on play, gets something 500 power. I always forget about that effect because who cares? And she has a climax phase change. Pay to discard a card. Then you can bring out this level 3 from your waiting room and place it into the board that she was in. So she's a changer. This card's in here because if I'm winning really hard, then it's kind of hard to keep the lead, because at level 2 you don't really have like any 2-soul beaters or like a really reliable change. Like this change isn't very good, so I wouldn't like do it every game. But like at a certain point you're just gonna have to keep on smacking on 1-soul beaters, and it leaves your opponent time to catch up. So if you're winning pretty hard, then you can just play this and have just a 10k 2-soul beater to hopefully maintain some advantage. So that way it's not just a totally dead period at level 2. But yeah, you don't always want to do it, because if you guys are pretty even, there's no point. Just kind of just smack them up until you get to level 3 and then start, doing more damage. But yeah, that's my thinking behind this. And yeah, that is all my level 2s. Only 4 level 2s. Next we got level 3s. 2 of these, 3/2 Silicas, 10k. On play she heals, and she has a climax combo with 2k1, but I don't actually run it, so I won't explain it here. Next, 4 of these 3/2 asanas heal on play, and when she attacks you can pay 1, discard a card to give all your characters plus 500 and plus 1 soul. So just 6 healers. I like 6 healers, it's a nice number. And her effect can be pretty useful. You may need an extra soul on one of your other attackers to do precise damage, or you just maybe want to pay out a climax or ditch right before you refresh. So her second effect is very versatile, and it comes in handy a lot of the time. So just a really good card. And finally, 2 of these 3/2 10k asanas from the new set. On play she has flare trigger. If her attack is cancelled, then your opponent takes 1 damage, and this does activate only once per turn, but if you play 2, then both of them have the effect. So she's just she's the game ender of the deck. She's a really good card. Like, yeah, I just lay 2 down to win at the end. But yeah, that's my level 3 lineup. 10 level 3s. I mean, sorry, 8 level 3s, sorry. Finally, climax lineup. 4 wind triggers and 4 gates. Alright. That about does it for all the cards in my deck. So now I'll explain how I generally play this deck level by level. Alright guys, to start things off at level 0, you generally want to have something like this. This gives you a 4k level 0 asana, which is a pretty good number to have. 4k level 0 is not bad. She can get suicided, so there's always that, but it's a good number. A really nice beater. If you can't get over something, then just play this. Suicide, kill any level 0s. So yeah, just beat shit up with this. And if you manage to draw a Yui and an asana early on, then that is really good, since this now makes this a 5k level 0 to the end of your opponent's turn, so even a steeper hill to climb. So this is a good combo. You generally want your field looking like this throughout the game. Yeah, if you trigger a climax, just use Yui or use Brainstormer or any other play 1 effects you have at level 0. There's 4, so 5 cards that let you pay it out, so it's not too hard. And you can always just use this if you get it later to keep spamming the draw ditch to pay out whatever's left. You really want to try and hit level 1 before your opponent, because then that lets you play your marker Asuna without any fear, because she is only 4 or 5, 5k if you have this, 6k with that, which is still pretty weak, and is, you really need to get this going early on, because yeah, like if you become level 1 first and they leave a couple of level 0s out, then that's basically a free marker. So you just attack, you get a marker. I'll just use this as a marker, and this becomes 6k costless, 6-5, 7-5. So that's already really good. If your opponent manages to stay at level 0, then you get another free marker. But essentially, you just want to get this card to 2 markers at least before your opponent gets like too far into level 1. So that way you have a 7-5 base, which would be really, really helpful. And if you get going early enough, this card generally won't go away unless your opponent has bounce or something like that. But yeah, so you definitely want to play this at the beginning of level 1. Past that, you know, you want to have a few of these. This Elizabeth is your strongest costless beater if you don't get this rolling. Potentially being 6-5 base, which is really nice. With the full field, she's 6-5, 7, 8k, so costless 8k beater is really nice. Let's see. This here, let's say it's 5-5 with this setup, 6, 7, so 7k. So all your costless ones potentially can get over 7k and up. So that's really good. The main focus of the deck is just trying to generate as much advantage as you can with your costless level 1s, just beating shit up. And yeah, just this combo, you're level 1, and you do have this, so feel free to play any climaxes you want. This is just 1k and then 2k, so it's just a 2k power boost. It makes your offensive potential it raises it quite a bit. So let's say you have this kind of field, 6-5, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10k costless level 1. That will generally get over most level 1s, if not all of them. There's always backups and such, but this just gives you, like, this is your prime time to shine, your level 1 game. Just really high offensive power. And this combo is really good because you can pay out climaxes as you trigger them, so you attack and you trigger a climax, you can just pay 1, search another character, and then you have another attack, and then she's just a really good card. And it lets you search out any cards you're missing, like if you want to maybe search out level multiplier because you don't have one in your hand yet and it's getting close to level 2, or you know your opponent has a change, you want to search out your Flash Asuna, just stuff like that. Like being able to do this multiple times throughout the game just lets you make sure you have the cards you really want. Let's see. Next I'll talk about this 1-1. I don't really have, this is the only thing that costs any stock at level 1. So if you do want to pay a climax out, and you don't want to use like one of your other level 0's effects, you can always just play this. She's 6k, 6-5. These two will always be rested because of Yui, so that's 7-5. If these attack first, then that's 8-5. So you have an how do I say this? Consistently powerful level 1 that also has clock encore. So it'll stay on the field because you can just clock and keep it up there. So if you need like a level 1 that's a little bit stronger, and you want to maintain your hand size because your opponent can probably just kill these other ones like pretty easily, then she's a good card to have. But she's definitely not necessary. Like you don't really need to have her. You can just add in another card, another backup, or another level 0. It's generally up to you. But yeah, she can be useful sometimes in certain situations. But generally, your main focus is to just take advantage of your really good costless level 1s. Another thing to mention, you have 2 really good level 1 backups. Like 2k no cost is huge. So with this being an 8k 1-0, 2k to this, 10k on defending is really strong. And if you do really need the power, then 3-5 if necessary. But yeah, this is just, like I said, you want to generate as much advantage as you can at level 1. So yeah, once you hit level 2, I generally play over this one, or well, you move this up, and I put my level multiplier in the back because I still want Yui's effect to give power, but yeah, I'd rather have Elizabeth here than Austin at this point. And also another thing, if you manage to keep your marker Asuna on the field still, then she's probably not level 1 anymore. She's like 3 or 4 or 5, and at that point, a level multiplier is just gives it even more power. So, I generally stop getting markers on this card at 5 markers because let's see, 4 markers at 6k, so that's a 10-5 plus another one, 11-12 plus this, so that becomes 14-5. She becomes a 14-5 level 5 character, and as long as it's, you know, somewhat clean, like no, it would have to be clean. So you have a 14-5 beater throughout the whole game, and that's just really ridiculous to have. She is only 1 soul, so you will still be tickling for a little while, but you have other level 3s to play. And don't keep her around if there are climaxes underneath her, because to have such a strong beater over having more climaxes, when I refresh, I would take the climaxes. So yeah, make sure you do keep track of your climaxes, and that's another thing. You can use the 1-0 Asuna combo to search out, count how many climaxes you have in your deck left, and just, you know, calculate to see if there's any left underneath her. And yeah, just that takes a bit of practice, but it's honestly, this card can be really useful. So yeah, just play her a lot more. Alright, the rest of the level 2 game, if they have a changer, then you definitely want to play one of these Flash Asunas. With this field, she's 12k against the level 3, 13, 14. So that should be able to get over most level 3s at level 2. If you do manage to kill a level 3 and send it to clock, then, and they're not going to level up anytime soon, then you put yourself in a really good position. They can't start smacking you with 2 soul and beat you up, and you can just keep wailing on them with costless ones. So this is just a really good card to have. But like I said, she's only good in those certain situations when they do have a level 3 out at level 2. Other than that, I definitely wouldn't play her. You just want to ride your level 1s all the way to level 3. That's honestly all you can do. But in those certain situations where you are winning pretty hard, you can play the changer and have one of these level 3 Asunas out earlier. She's only 11-5, 12-5 with this. And her burn effect's whatever, but I mean, if your opponent's level 3, then they're going to take 1 damage when she comes out, and you can just start smacking level 2. So it's not that bad to have, but you definitely don't want to do it all the time because it is a lot of stock, and you don't really need to do it because, like, you can still ride your 1s all the way to level 3. But yeah, if you're really far ahead, then definitely go for it. But yeah, other than that, if it's just sort of even and they don't have any level 3s out at level 2, then just keep smacking with your 1s. Now, when you get to level 3, you honestly just want to heal in the beginning as much as you can with these two. She's just a heal, so 11-5 base, 11-5 with the level multiplier, so yeah. You'd probably want to get these in your hand more often and play those than these, but I do want 6 heals in the deck, so I do run 2 of them, but yeah. And having her out and being able to use her effect whenever you want is really useful. Pay 1, discard a card can be useful in a lot of times, like giving all your 1 soul beaters an extra soul, allowing them to be on them for 2, or just paying out a climax, ditching a climax. She's just a really good level 3. So yeah, it's kind of, level 3 is kind of boring compared to my other deck. You just heal and smack them, but you know, what can you do? And when your opponent's like 3-3, 3-4, starting to, you know, it's not early on at level 3 anymore, then just go for the goal. I usually hold on to 2 if I can, and then play them, so that way I have 2 burners, which is potentially 2 damage, 1. If they cancel, then it's another 1. They basically have, if they're like close to dying, they have to cancel some, like kind of like 5 attacks. Like if her first attack gets canceled, then you ping 1. If your first attack gets canceled, then you ping 1, and then that is like, it's just really hard to deal with, and they probably won't survive. And if they do survive, then you're probably dead the next turn. But yeah, this is just your ender. Just go for it. Just try to kill him the best way you can. She also works with this because if you do only need to do 1 damage, then you can just attack, pay 1. Now she's 3 soul, which they'll probably cancel. Like if they still have a lot of if they don't have a lot of climaxes out, then they're probably gonna cancel. So you smack them for 3, they'll cancel. Then you smack for this. This will have 3 soul now. So if her effect cancel, you still ping 1, which is precise damage. So just these cards work well together. But yeah, that's generally how you play level 3. Just heal, smack on them, and then try to end the game with the burners. And yeah, that is generally how I play the deck level by level. So I guess now I'll go on to some alternatives that you can run from my deck. Alright guys, so for level 0, if you don't want to run the Yui, or you don't think you need to, there's always this 0 Asuna 1k. During your turn, all your characters gain plus 500 power, and rest 2 characters and gets only 1k power. She gets 500 more power than the Yui on offensive, so if you want a little more offensive power, then by all means go ahead. She also has a resting effect, so you can keep your back row rested. So she works well with the 1/1 Encore that I have. But yeah, she's a good card. She's decent, but I really treasure Yui's other effect as well, the pay 1, draw a card, ditch a card. So yeah, but you know, the option's there for you. Also, I do run the 1/0 Invites to Party Asuna, so you can definitely throw in a couple bonders there. I just don't think I need it in this build because space is pretty tight. But you know, she's a really good card. When she attacks, all your Asunas get 500 power and pay 1 bond, so it helps maintain your hand size, and it's just a nice effect. So she's a good card. You can run her if you want. Next for level 0, there's also the new Searcher. Pay 1, discard a card, and search for an avatar character. If you want another way to search besides the Invites to Party Asuna, then you can run this. Or if you just don't want to run the Invites to Party Asuna combo and you still want a way to search, then just throw a couple of these in. It is red, so this does help your color count, and I would definitely run this over the level 0 Kaito Searcher, but you know, either one's fine if you want a different way to search. Next, I'm going to go into a little comparison about this and this card. So, let's see. Generally, my back row is this. If you have this, and you have 2 other characters, I'll just put, then this is 6/5, 7/5, 8/5 because they're rested, and 9/5. So this is a 9/5 level 1 beater. Only on offense though. So on defense, she's just 6/5, 7/5 if you used Yui on her. But she's 7/5 with Clock Encore. That's a huge point that I have to point out, or argument that I have. The Clock Encore lets you maintain your hand size a lot, and I think it's just really good. But your 1/0 backup is weaker compared to this one, because when you do have this, this becomes a 3k backup, which, I mean, the cost is 3k backup. That's pretty crazy. And on defending, she's also, let's see, 7, 8. On defending, she's 8, and then she can hit 11. But on defending, this is 7/5 and can only hit 9/5. So, I mean, this generally gets higher numbers, but the Clock Encore on here just lets you maintain hand size, so it honestly depends on what you want. Let me just do an example with this. So 7k, 1k, because of you, so 8k. Startup effect 9k. So she's a 9k. So it's like essentially the same. 9.5, 9k. They're basically the same on offense. This one's stronger on defense, but this also has clock on card. So at that point, it's just up to you. If you want to maintain your hand size, or if you want just bigger potential of surviving, like, you know, your backups become better. Just up to you. But I think if I'm gonna run a 1/1, then I'd probably run this card. But you also don't need to run any cost 1 characters. Just keep using your 1-0s. Or, I mean, if you do like having 1/1s and just reaching high numbers, then you could also throw in a couple. Either one's fine, honestly. They both do the job pretty well. But yeah, I just wanted to, you know, go over the strengths of both of them and weaknesses. And yeah, so there's always those options. Next off, if you don't want to, once you hit level 2, if you don't want to ride your level 1s forever, then you can throw in one or two of these changing asanas. She's an 8k, but when your other characters attack, she gets 1k. So if you have the other two attack first, then she becomes a 10k base, which is pretty big. If you have a level multiplier, she becomes 11k, and if you use the Yui, then she's 12k. 12k cost 1, level 2 is pretty good. However, it is only on offense, and I think space is pretty tight. But she's a good card to have. She's generic, but you know, if you want to reach higher numbers at level 2, then you should definitely throw in a couple of these. There's also this 2/1 Lisbeth that combos with the gate. Yeah, I am running 4 of these, and the combo is not bad by all means. On attack, pay 1, salvage 2 characters, discard a card, and she gets 1k. So she becomes 9k, 10k because of the climax. But you definitely run her for the combo. You get to salvage 2 and discard a card. So, I mean, getting to discard a card, it could be really useful right before refresh. It's a nice hand fix, and you already run gates, so why not? It's a good combo. It's just, you know, like I said, space is pretty tight in the deck, so I opt not to run it. But it's definitely not a bad combo. And finally, for level 3, I do run the Silica, so I mean, her combo is really good. It's combos with 2k1. On attack, you can salvage a character and place a card from your opponent's waiting room to their top of their library. So you get to salvage, so you can potentially loop heal somewhat, as long as you get a level 3 with the heal. And you can also get your burn asanas if you don't have any. And her other effect, placing 1 on top, can be pretty useful. But yeah, it makes them less likely to cancel by 1, so it's always really nice. And you can do all kinds of fancy stuff with this, like siding a level 3. As long as you 2k1, so they're 3, you side, you trigger 1, and then you just deal 1 damage for precise damage. But yeah, you can get pretty fancy with it. And it's a really good combo. Like, I already run the Silica, so you can opt to run more of her. Take some of the 3/2 asanas out, maybe throw these in instead of wind triggers, or take 1 or 2 wind trigger and gate out. Just throw some of these in. It's a really good combo, and it's honestly preference. I just kind of wanted to try not using it, like just relying on asanas to smack them up and beat them down once you hit level 3, and maintaining hand other ways. But yeah, it's a good combo. It's really good. So you can definitely try that out if you want. And yeah, that about does it. Red yellow I definitely think is the way to go for the set. The SAO2 booster hardly added any, as you can see. I run like 4 or 5 new cards. The Silica deck is pretty nice now, but you might see that later on. But yeah, I definitely think red yellow is the best build. Just taking advantage of all your costless level 1s, generating as much advantage as you can. Just a lot of different utility cards for any situation you think will happen, like just brainstorming, drawing, anti-encoring, just all kinds of things going on. You have a lot of tools, but I do think the deck's a little hard to play just because I have quite a bit of text, so you honestly need to know about the set you're playing against, what you'll definitely need later on, whether you want to search the flash asana or not. stuff like that. Maybe you'll need a level multiplier. Maybe you need to search out a brainstorm because you're running low on climaxes in your deck and you kind of need to refresh quicker. You know, it just takes somewhat practice. It's not that hard, but it's definitely a really good set. And it's probably the best set in English right now. So this is definitely a really good series in general. So yeah, that's my deck profile. I hope you guys liked it. And you know, any comments or questions, just leave it in the comments below. And yeah, until next time, guys.